What's going on, babe?
Hey, babe, how was your day?
It was actually pretty productive. Happy to be home.
Good. You know, we got a game today. Honey, you're a little rough around the edges.
I'm saying, I've been working all night, taking care of business, getting to the... You know what? I don't even want to talk about it. I got you. I'm not trying to be out here looking like a dusty, and that's why I'm excited to have T. Chanley as a sponsor of today's video. They help me start and maintain my skincare routine by making the entire process uncomplicated. Honestly, it's the best skincare system for guys like you and me. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which come with all of the basics. A daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. My favorite part about T. Chanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. In addition to amazing skin, members of T. Chanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price and the ability to customize your box. And because T. Chanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description. You'll get 30% off your first box plus a free gift. Click the link and get started today. We're taking care of ourselves. Self-care, fellas, is the first step to be able to get to that bag, to take care of business, and be on top of things and level up in every aspect of your life. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on? Is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Filming in a new thing for Patreon. And we've been documenting some things and editing some things and trying to create the best experience possible. So I do have to go into the office this afternoon as usual. And so we're going to go ahead and get it popping on time today, not missing anything. So I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. If you are not a part of the Bag Chasers, then you should be, because the next Patreon exclusive video that I drop, in addition to the live stream meetup, or not the live stream meetup, the Patreon exclusive live meetup here in the Midwest, for those of you that are familiar, if you know, you know, and the Build a Business that we got, the live stream that's happening this weekend. So I got a new Patreon exclusive video that's dropping either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm like 85% sure that it's dropping tomorrow. So just got to finish going through the editing process, letting people know exactly what it is. And it's awesome. It's absolutely incredible because it's an immersive. This one is different, right? And you know that me and the people that surrounding me are always having conversations based off of how I can add the most value, right? And so I believe that immersing people in my lifestyle, as well as showing them the business deals, showing them what I do in corporate, showing them what I do when I log on and I have to do my meetings when it comes to some of the other businesses that I'm involved in, showing them what I do as a silent investor in some of these restaurants, showing them what I do when the content creation is popping, showing them what I do as far as all in between when it is that you see me live streaming and recording and dropping videos, showing them my editing team, assistants, process, the whole 9 yards. I want you guys to have every piece of me. Pause. I do. I want you guys to know what it takes in order to be successful. So I want this to be even more immersive. And at first I was like, hey, yeah, you know what? I need to drop even more immersive content on YouTube. And then I was like, what am I thinking? And then the people around me was like, what are you thinking? Why would you do that? I said, listen, I over-talk too much as far as giving information. And so a lot of times what you guys will see is you'll see me pouring into people online and I'll be giving them so much game for free. Even though it's crazy $1 million game inside of the Patreon, the nature of who I am is to want people to have the most so that they can have the tools that they need in order to be successful. But I have to pull back a lot more. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. The new recordings that's going to be dropping inside of the Patreon is going to be completely immersive. Like, I'm taking you into the office with me. I'm showing you the deals. I'm showing you how it is that I deal with my overseas team, my overseas developers versus the teams that I deal with here. I want you to see a lot of the things that I'm building as far as the new studios and the as well as the Build a Business that I'm live streaming and taking y'all through. I know we got well, I don't want to say it. I have to stop oversharing. I am going to completely change your life by not only giving you the information, because anybody can drop a course, right? Anybody can give you a blueprint. Very few people actually understand business. Very few people will let you into inside of how it is that you're supposed to move, how you negotiate these deals, how you can look at these contracts, how you can look at an investment that somebody proposes to you and whether or not you should take it or not based off of certain criteria. Very few people can give you that game. Very few. And so I want to take you along that journey with me. So if you decide that you want to join the Bag Chasers, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat to the Patreon. Don't worry, Heather. Don't worry, Heather. I'm not giving out no more free game. Not to that extent. Not that's strictly supposed to be for the Bag Chasers. So shout out to the Patreon members and the Bag Chasers. You have a Patreon exclusive that's dropping either tomorrow or Wednesday. 85% sure that it's dropping tomorrow. I mean, from the time that I wake up to my prayer routine or what it is that I pray for, how it is that I deal with my family, I am going to immerse you so much into what my life is like and how it is that I'm able to operate at such a high level and get so much done, and why I make the big bucks and why you should too. Because if you can see me do it and you can get the blueprint, then it's no excuse as to why you would continue to run in the Victim Olympics. Right? No? I mean, it's a reason why I don't go to the after parties after the after party, right? We did the Lapeef experience. It was absolutely incredible. We're going to go to a new city soon. But Anton, on all 3 days that I was there, after we do our experience, after we take care of our business, yeah, I might go out to dinner here and there and so on and so forth. And I may kick it with people, but I want you guys, and I'm not going to tell it out loud. I want to show you and give you the game as to how it's important for you to move at the highest level possible, because there is no mistakes that you can make when it comes to being a leader. So many different people depend on you in order for you to make sure that they eat and their family is taken care of and decisions that's being made. You don't have time to play games. And it's not that people shouldn't have fun. I think that people should absolutely have fun. Go out and enjoy your life. But I'm different. And I want to do things different. I want to buy the Pistons. I want to take over whole neighborhoods and counties and cities. Like, I mean, my vision, honestly, if I told you what my vision was, it'd be so far beyond what your belief system is or would allow you to be able to think that it wouldn't even be worth having a conversation about. If I told you what my vision is long term, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it. And so I reserve that for the Bag Chasers. Again, shout out to the Bag Chasers, people that are in the Patreon. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for continuing to hold me down. I'm going to continue to pour into you. And I'm always thinking of and implementing different ways in which I can show you or teach you how to get to that bag, how to become more successful, how to be the best version of you, how to be successfully married, how to be able to navigate in a room full of snakes, and how to, regardless of what happens, still become successful, because we are not victims, we are victors. So again, link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And we're going to continue to do the work. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the show, ladies and gentlemen. First,
when I got to Bangkok,
let's do this. I want to give a shout out to T. Hanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Link is in the description. If you are not a T. Hanley person, then make sure you tap in. All right. Uncomplicated skincare for men. Again, link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And if you need to kick it with me, I'm showing you exactly what my schedule is, how I do my coaching sessions, my Zoom calls and all of that. If you need to kick it with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. And then we're going to get you scheduled for a call. We're going to get you scheduled for a Zoom session. We're going to get you taken care of. All right. So now that that's out the way, let's get right into the show, right? Because again, I am recording today and I have to go into corporate and all of that. So we're going to get right into the show. So shout out to Cam. Shout out to Cam. Those of you that has been rocking with me for an extended period of time know that I've given Kamala Harris a nickname, and I call her Cam because listen, there were reports and it went away silently. And this is proof that if you just be quiet long enough, certain things will go away. Don't worry about what they say about you. Eventually it all goes away. Cam, there were reports a while ago that Cam was very toxic to work with inside of the White House. and that Joe ain't like her, and all of her staffers is like, what is this chick doing? And she crazy, and she got that bad black woman queen attitude. It was all alleged. It was all alleged, all right? But Cam and the Senate and Joe Biden and your legislative branches was hard at work last week. And nobody knew about it because everybody was focused on Brittany Griner and the fact that they're trying to bring home a chick that needs to sit down for a while. Whole nother live stream. We talked about that last week. We're not going to revisit it. But Cam was a part of, or she was a tie-breaking vote for a new legislative bill that will affect you, and I'm going to break it down for you. So before we get into all of the fuck shit and all of that other type of stuff, I want you guys to be familiar with what's going on inside of your legislative branches, because it's important for you to know this, because then you won't be acting like you got blindsided, and we're going to power through this, all right? So let me share my screen with you guys so you can understand exactly what's going on, all right? They got a new climate, health, and tax deal inside of the Senate. And you guys didn't even know. You didn't even know it. They got a new deal going on inside of the Senate. And they got passed. And I'm going to break it down for you, okay? So the Democrats' budget reconciliation package, that's what they're calling it. They're calling it the budget reconciliation package, okay? For those of you that are not familiar. And in this budget reconciliation package, they're addressing climate, tax provisions, and it largely passed across party lines. So basically, none of the Republicans was with it. All of the Democrats were with it. This is what happens when you have a majority vote. You can get things done regardless of how other people feel. So it doesn't really matter if you vote Democrat or Republican as long as they have the majority. And there are certain counties that run in the Victim Olympics. But let me go ahead and break it down to you. So it won critical support of Arizona Senator Kristen Sinema, who demanded several changes be made, and now it goes to the Democratic-controlled House. Now, how much do you want to bet that it's going to get approved going to the Democratic-controlled House before President Biden can sign it into law? So before we deep dive into this, understand this, right? Biden has been hard at work. You know how a president 4 years can go by and you're like, man, that went by fast. What did you get done, right? Obama was in office for 8 years. You got the Affordable Care Act. You got the Zesties being championed. He did work with the automakers in order to save the auto industry. He was dealing with the banks. He had inherited certain things from Bush. But it's like, is this 8 years worth of work, right? He killed Osama bin Laden. He was hard at work. He had aged a lot. Biden, in his short time in the White House, he did the infrastructure bill, Build Back Better plan. He tackling y'all student loans. He got the Fed raising rates on inflation. And then now they have what I would like to call the budget reconciliation package. And this is what's in it. They want to basically have sweeping change. Well, let's just read it. Still, the effort remains in mere shadow of the sweeping 3.5 trillion, not billion, not million, trillion. What are they going to do? What's after that? A zillion? $3.5 trillion reconciliation package that, hold on, that the majority party initially floated last year. So they talked about it last year. They got it done this year. If you're not aware of it, then you should be aware of it. All right. They torpedoed the inclusion of any climate or tax provision in mid-July. Now it was back then. And then Manchin, a moderate Democrat, reversed course. The measures join a handful of important but narrow provisions into lowering prescription drug prices to extend the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies for 3 years. I bet y'all didn't even know that there was additional subsidies that was still being implemented for the Affordable Care Act, did you? Let's scroll down. We don't even want to see all of that, all right? Here's what's in the bill. The Senate parliamentarian whose blessing is needed for the bill to proceed via reconciliation ruled that most of the drug price provisions could be included. So you get lower drug prices. This is what they were working on, okay? Congressional Budget Office had previously scored drug price measures saying they will reduce the federal deficit by a total of $288 billion over a decade. All right. So here's what it is. Medicare drug price negotiation. The bill would empower Medicare to negotiate prices on certain costly medications administered in doctors' offices or purchased at the pharmacy. The Health and Human Services Secretary would negotiate the prices of 10 drugs in 2026 and another 15 in 2027 and again in 2028, and the number would rise to 20 drugs a year for 2029 and beyond. This controversial provision is far more limited than the one that House Democratic leaders have backed in the past, but it would open the door for fulfilling a long-standing party goal of allowing Medicare to use its heft to lower drug costs. So let me give it to you from a C student's perspective, all right? Basically what they're doing is they saying that, listen, we have a lot of power because we buy a lot of prescription drugs on behalf of the people that we service from an insurance perspective. And then we need to be able to wield that power in order to negotiate better drug prices from drug companies and pharmacies. I don't know how effective this is going to be. All bills are finessed. All bills are finessed. And the way that they do this is because the pharmaceutical companies have very powerful lobbyists that influence how or what happens within your federal government. So this is a bill that we have yet to see bring forth any fruit. But the idea of it is that if we have all of this power and we have all of this money that we spend, and we should be able to negotiate the prices that we paying for prescription drugs. And then ultimately they're hoping that it lowers the federal deficit by $288 billion over the next 10 years. All right. I know. This is the boring part. We got to get past the part that actually means something to you so that we can get into the other stuff. All right. Inflation cap legislation would also impose penalties on drug companies if they increase prices faster than inflation. However, the parliamentarian ruled that the provision can only apply to Medicare, not private insurance market as well, as the Democrats had wanted. Now, all you have to do sometimes is ask yourself, like, well, why wouldn't this apply to everything? Why is this only one way? I will tell you, it's just like I just told you before. Pharmaceutical companies and people that have a vested interest in seeing certain things happen the way that they want it to happen have powerful lobbyists and people that are in play. How do you think that some of these people get funded as far as their campaigns and getting into office? I scratch your back, you scratch my back. But largely what they're saying is that Medicare and the penalties on drug companies wouldn't be as severe, but they have to stay in line with whatever the rate of inflation is. So when I bring this to you and I say this and I say, hey, inflation is at 9.1%, inflation is at 8.6%, they're saying that they can't take these prices and just increase them based off of what their cost is or any other factor outside of or beyond the rate of inflation. Y'all with me? All right. Limit on Medicare out-of-pocket drug costs. Senate would redesign Medicare's Part D drug plan so that seniors and people with disabilities wouldn't pay more than $2,000 a year for medications bought at the pharmacy. Insurers and drug makers would have to pick up more of the tab. So they're pushing the bills over to insurance companies and the drug makers. I'm wondering how much that's going to affect you in the long run, because the one thing that I know for sure and two things is for certain, ain't nobody taking no L's. What they wind up doing is passing this off to taxpayers. They pass it off to you guys that actually have to pay for your insurance. And then hopefully you can try to get a subsidy via the Affordable Care Act, in which they're trying to extend for the next 3 years. Free vaccines for seniors. Do you really care? No. Let's continue to go past that. Affordable Care Act subsidies. Obamacare subsidies. All right. Democrats are also looking at extending the enhanced federal premium subsidies for Obamacare coverage. See, they can't help it. Through 2025, a year later than lawmakers recently discussed. That way they wouldn't just expire after the 2024 election. So basically what they're trying to do is, regardless of whether or not they lose in 2024 or not, they want these subsidies to continue so that people aren't affected. The cost of you getting Obamacare is lower. Subsidies were expanded through this year as a part of the Democrats' $1.9 trillion coronavirus. Dion, where's that money at? I know a lot of people got like PPP loans. There's a lot of people going to jail right now. Where is all of this $1.9 trillion in coronavirus relief package? I know y'all got some stemmies. How much was a stemmy? $1,600, $1,300, $1,200? 500, 600. How much was the stimmies? Somebody tell me what the stimmies were. Let's see. They have made healthcare coverage on Obamacare exchanges more affordable and leading to record enrollment this year. Enrollees pay no more than 8.5% of their income towards coverage, down from nearly 10%, and lower income policyholders receive subsidies that eliminate their premiums completely. So basically, what this is basically telling you right here is that if you get money, we're not going to make you pay any more than 8.5% of what it is that you make. If you're not getting money and you're poor as piss, basically we in Canada. And if you enroll, then your premiums is basically going to be eliminated completely. All right. Also, those earning more than 400% of the federal poverty levels have become eligible for the first time, which is not a lot. So basically, they saying this is the rate of poverty. What is it? $25,000, $12,000. If you make 4 times that, then you're eligible also. If the enhanced federal assistance is allowed to expire at the end of the year, nearly all 13 million subsidized enrollees will see their premiums rise for 2023. Democrats hoping to avoid negative publicity. You see why they doing it? Democrats are hoping to avoid the negative publicity of such premium increases. They're not doing it because it's best for you. They're doing it because it's best for them. They want to avoid the negative publicity that would come along with the increases. It doesn't matter who paid for it. The only thing that matters is that it don't make us look bad. All right. If Congress doesn't act, consumers would learn in the fall just how much more they could have to pay. Open enrollment begins November 1st. Extending the enhanced subsidies would cost $64 billion. So basically, who's going to pick up the tab? They saying that Anton from Anton Daniels. Also, if you have diabetes, cheaper insulin. Democrats added a provision to the bill that would cap what Americans pay for insulin at $35 a month in Medicare and private insurance markets. Climate provisions. This is the part that y'all really have been looking forward to. Don't worry, we're about to get into Ashanti and Mike Tyson and all of that stuff, right? I just got to give y'all the game. The deal would be the biggest climate investment in U.S. history. So they basically trying to fix the future for you. I believe in... No, don't worry about it. It would slash greenhouse gas emissions by 40% by 2030. That's what Chuck Schumer is saying. The new agreement spans everything from electric vehicle tax credits to clean energy manufacturing and investments in environmental justice communities. Environmental and justice communities. I don't even know what that means. Does that mean to black people? Extending tax credits for electric vehicles. Made it in after a previous opposition. The tax credits would continue at their current levels. So basically, they incentivizing you to basically buy an electric vehicle instead of keep going with your gas vehicle. And 10-year consumer tax credit to bring down the cost of heat pumps, rooftop solar, electric HVAC, water heaters, $60 billion of funding for environmental justice communities and for the reduction of legacy pollution. $60 billion towards domestic clean energy manufacturing, $30 billion towards the production tax credit for wind, solar, and battery storage, $4 billion in additional drought funding. All right, here's the key. Here's the key. Tax provisions. How are we going to pay for everything that they're negotiating and that they signed off on already? To boost revenue, the bill would impose a 15% minimum tax on income large corporations report to shareholders. So basically publicly traded companies. 15% minimum tax. Basically, they want to ensure that they pay their fair share. Now, what does this mean? This means that they're supposedly closing all of the loopholes, and they're saying that no matter what, we want you to pay a 15% minimum tax of whether or not you're profitable, whether or not you go well, so on and so forth. So we'll see. Known as book income as opposed to Internal Revenue Service. The measure, which would raise $258 billion, estimated, over a decade, according to updated figures, would apply to companies with profits over $1 billion. So if you work for a company that makes over $1 billion, this is how they're going to pay for it, is they're going to tax. More taxes, more taxes, more taxes. All right. Concern about this provision would affect certain businesses, particularly manufacturers. So that's it. Kamala Harris, Cam, was the breaking vote for what we now have as the reconciliation package that's been passed by Senate. goes into the house. Joe Biden is going to sign off on it, and then we're gonna get to the bag, right? No? Maybe? You gonna pay for it? Cool. Let's get into the real stuff. Irv Gotti. Mike Tyson. All right. Mike Tyson, and I'm curious as to what you guys think about this and the way that the rest of the show is going to go now that we got the boring stuff out of the way. The way that the rest of the show is going to go away is we're going to talk about Mike Tyson and his fight with Hulu. We're going to talk about Irv Gotti and Ashanti and how, who finessing who. And then we're going to go straight into living in Thailand. I've been hearing so much about these dudes and these passport bros and these life and living. See you, babe. Have fun. That I want to deep dive and understand exactly what this life outside of the U.S. is really like. And so we already had one guy, and I think he was living in Bali, the black guy that was making $140,000 a year. He didn't talk about the chicks that he was busting down. He didn't talk about that. However, he did say he was having a good time. So I'm wondering how he get his back scratched. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the massage parlors. But let's talk about Mike Tyson, right? Allegedly, Mike Tyson is getting finessed by Hulu. Mike Tyson is saying that Hulu stole his entire life story for this new series. And he compared the streamer to a slave master. I am a fan of Mike Tyson. I'm not necessarily a fan of Mike Tyson, the boxer. I'm a fan of Mike Tyson, the person. Because Mike Tyson is a freaking legend as a person. You know you great when who you become after your career is much more phenomenal than what you did in the ring. During your career, during your glory years. I was riding in a car this weekend, and we were on our way to the airport yesterday. For those of you that watched my video, the last video that I dropped on this channel yesterday, you know that I was talking to a girl, a Sierra Leonean, and I was on my way to the airport, and I had to deal with the cancellations that was happening with Delta. And so when you go to the airport, especially in Atlanta, you see a lot of people walking around. But if you start to pay attention a little bit deeper, you see different people laying on the floor. And you know that those are people whose flights have gotten canceled. And then they're at the whims of whatever it is that the airline companies have to deal with, because the airline companies have to deal with a shortage of pilots, a shortage of workers, all of the regulations and all of that, right? So if you start to pay attention to what's happening at the airport, follow me here, right? You see the people that are subjected to what's happening in society, such as the ebbs and the flows of what's happening with the airline companies, right? And so as a result, me and Rita said no. We had a flight that was scheduled to come in at 2 p.m. or it was scheduled to take off at 2 p.m., right? As soon as I check out at the hotel, you head straight to the airport. You do your thing. And it was scheduled to land back here at 4 something. And then Delta said, nope, fuck your first class ticket. We're going to put you on this flight at 8:45 p.m. And then you're going to get in when we say you're going to get in. And I said, fuck you. I'm going to cancel this ticket. We got it canceled. We booked another flight. I wound up booking a Spirit flight. And that flight wound up costing me close to $900 just for 2 big seats. But it was on time. Went off on time, got me here. Instead of me flying out at almost 9 o'clock at night, I flew out at 3, got here at 5, live stream with Jay Prince, because time is money. I don't have time to be moving my schedule around, and so you do what you have to do. But thank God that I had the ability to do so. And on my way to the airport, I told Rita, I said, I talk to so many people and I coach a lot of people and I interact with people all the time. And they say, man, I wish I was 20 again. Man, I wish I was almost 30 again. And I said, I'm never going back. My life today at 40 is greater than it's ever been. My life today at 40 is more phenomenal, more impactful, and greater than it's ever been. It's no way. Listen, my 20s, awesome. 30s, phenomenal. 20 was a little bit shaky in the middle, though. I never want to go back to those days. My best years is ahead of me. Why would I want to look back? Why do people live in the past? And I look at Mike Tyson in the same way. I think that who Mike Tyson is today and the conversations that he's having today, if you pay attention to him, if you listen to him, I think that he is much greater today than he ever was when he stepped foot in that ring. Real talk. But Mike Tyson is having a problem. Let me share the article with you real quick, and I want to get y'all opinion on this, okay? Mike Tyson is saying that Hulu is finessing them. Now, are y'all gonna rock with Hulu? Is the question that I got for y'all. Are y'all rocking with Hulu, considering that Mike Tyson, and I'm a fan of Mike, are y'all still rocking with Hulu after he's saying these large companies is finessing him? He called him a slave master. So for those of y'all that have seen that preview for the Mike Tyson biopic, a lot of you may have thought that Mike Tyson sanctioned it. It's not true. Tyson has expressed his disdain for the new Hulu biopic series about his life. The former professional heavyweight boxer doesn't approve of Mike, to say the least, stating that the streamer stole his life story. Is all fair in love and business? Is all fair in love and business? Mike is saying that Hulu finessed him, stole his life story. He aired his grievances against Hulu and the series through his Instagram on Saturday, sharing 2 posts with strong words against the streamer. The first post commends Dana White. And this is why I say I don't do business with everybody. I only do business with people of good character. And a lot of people on a regular basis that have done business with Dana White say that he's a good dude. I don't do business with everybody, right? First, he thanked Dana White, the standing president of basically the UFC. And Tyson alleged that Hulu attempted to pay Dana White and potentially UFC to promote Mike, but White declined because he honors friendship. Tyson calls the series a slave master takeover story about his life. Ain't it good to have dope people on your side? They wanted to spend money instead of paying Mike, instead of doing what they were supposed to do, which is similar to what Dave Chappelle was talking about with regard to Comedy Central. And we're talking about being finessed today. We're going to talk about Ashanti and Irv Gotti. We're going to talk about Mike Tyson. We just talked about what's happening in the Senate right up under your nose, and you ain't know nothing about it. You ain't even know it. Mike Tyson said that I rock with Dana White. Dave Chappelle said I rock with Netflix. They rock with these people because they said that they honor friendship, and you can't just take every single piece of dollar just because it's money. Money does not make you a better person, contrary to the popular belief. Everybody thinks that just because somebody is getting money that they can do what they want to do. You can sleep with another dude's chick. That's your best friend, such as Elon Musk, allegedly. Huh? You can father a bunch of children even though you don't have time to spend with them. Nick Cannon in Future. But people will justify it because they say that they get into the bag. And this is why I call my people bag chasers, and it does not necessarily define that. What being a bag chaser is becoming the best version of yourself, understanding that everything else comes with it. We got to get it the right way. We only do business with people of good character. Let's continue. Hulu tried to desperately pay my brother Dana White millions without offering me $1 to promote their slave master takeover story about my life. He turned it down because he honors friendship and treating people with dignity. I'll never forget what he did for me, just like I'll never forget what Hulu stole from me. Do y'all know that I read a story over this weekend that nobody highlighted? Nobody highlighted the story over the weekend. It was a story that came out about Tyler Perry. And who was the woman that just died that Tyler Perry take care of? Who was the woman that just died? Let me look it up really quickly. Tyler Perry. Who was the woman that just died? That Tyler Perry, that they was talking about with Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry. Cicely Tyson. Cicely Tyson. Yep. Shout out to you, Persevere Data TV and Nancy P. Cicely Tyson. And Cicely Tyson wrote in her book that Tyler Perry took care of her for the last 15 years of her life. No matter how you feel about Tyler Perry putting on a dress or his plays or who he caters to and all of this other type of stuff, the problem with communities, our community and culture in general, is that they highlight the worst of us, but they don't talk anything about the things that are great amongst us. And allegedly, or according to Tyler Perry, He paid Cicely Tyson $1 million just for one day of work, trying to compensate for all of the greatness that she had in her life, because he didn't want to have her suffer in the way that she would have suffered had he not been an angel for her. Doing business with good people, which is one of the reasons why he's so successful. People don't believe it. People do not believe, they don't believe that you being a good person is actually manifesting a level of karma. They don't believe it. I do. I absolutely believe that the way that you treat people is exactly what you're going to do. Doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily be rich. It's some horrible scumbag rich people, but it don't also mean that their life ain't phenomenal either. Their life be a disaster. They just got money to try to cover it up a little bit better. But they not happy, and that's why they say that money can't buy you happiness. But money does buy you happiness because it gives you options when you're doing it the right way. Similar to Dana White with Mike Tyson. Says Hulu tried to desperately pay my brother. He ain't having it. Let's continue. Soon after Tyson shared a second post criticizing Hulu, he said, "Don't let Hulu fool you. I don't support their story about my life. It's not 1822, it's 2022. They stole my life story and didn't pay me. To Hulu executives, I'm just an N-word they can sell on the auction block." That's some really, really, really mean words, Mike. It's some mean words. He goes on to say, it isn't the first time that Tyson has criticized the production. In 2021 February, he voiced his disapproval shortly after the series was greenlit by Hulu. He said, "This announcement on the heels of social disparities in our country is a prime example of how Hulu's corporate greed led to the tone-deaf cultural misappropriation of the Tyson life story," Tyson said in a statement at the time. I got a question, though, because they premiering 2 episodes on August 25th, and I know y'all gonna watch it either way, so it really don't make no difference. But I got a question, though, considering how Mike feels, because I am actually a very big supporter of Mike Tyson. I have a question. Is it all business, or is it important for you to do good business? Is all business the way that we're supposed to lean into it, or is it important for us also to do good business? Because it's not just enough for it to be legal. It has to be done right. It's not enough for it to just be legal. It has to be right. I know that people don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. Whoever was going to watch the Mike documentary series on Hulu is still going to watch the Mike documentary series on Hulu because they like, Mike, fuck your feelings. We still going to watch it if it's good, especially if they get good reviews. People do not care. But it's important for you to do good business, whether people care or not. Whether people care or not, it's the reason why nobody can come out here and say that Anton from AntonDaniels.com owe me some money. No, he don't. Stop lying. And I don't owe nobody no money. I pay people more than what it is that they're owed. Anybody that actually ever done business with me knows for a fact that I have always overpaid people, which is one of the reasons why I had such a problem when we was having that conversation on Lapeef Let's Talk a couple weeks ago about tipping. It's not just about whether or not it's legal to do or you're doing the right or wrong thing. What is right and what is wrong according to whatever is happening in that culture at that specific time. You have to treat people right. You got to do them right. You do. And so me personally, I am not going to rock with Hulu. I'm actually canceling Hulu. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you that I like Mike that much. I do. I rock with Mike that much. I believe in doing good business. And even on my end, I don't believe in compensating companies and people that move in egregious ways. Now, that's separate from like if it's a franchise and like I heard some kid at Chuck E. Cheese got looked over. That don't mean that all Chuck E. Cheese's is bad. It means that that particular worker is bad. But when you're talking about green lighting an entire series and willing to pay Dana White and the UFC to promote it, but don't even want to give Mike his due or let him have any kind of input or executive produce it or anything like that, I think that that's egregious. So me personally, I'm rocking with Mike. Shout out to Kevin Robinson, says good business. All money ain't good money. I don't take all money from everybody. Just because somebody want to advertise on my platform, I don't always take that. I say, you know what? We'll see. Let me see what you're doing.
Let me learn who you are. Let's have a conversation. It pays off more in the long run than it does in the short run. That short money ain't what's up. Y'all learned that from the PPP loans. Anyways, let's continue. So shout out to Mike Tyson. I hope he get his just due. Ashanti and Irv Gotti. We talking about doing good business and being finesse today. Ashanti and Irv Gotti. Lil Black Duck says, Joe is adding 87,000 IRS agents to his squad. I don't think he's going to get there, Lil Black Duck. I'm going to be honest with you. They aren't just coming for the rich who can afford to move assets around. They're coming for you. You know why they also adding 84,000 or 87,000 IRS agents? Because they are. They're trying, but they're not doing it successfully. Let me give you a little bit of context behind that, Lil Black Duck. They're doing it because they've instituted new monitoring and new auditing infrastructure that allows for them to be able to track what it is that you're doing, and they're requiring it from different banks. They want to go after higher income, and you're considered in the middle class higher income. I'm straight because I'm not going to pay that much in taxes anyway, just because I got to reinvest all of it into my business because I look at things from a business perspective. Shout out to the Bag Chasers and the Patreon members. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm good. You're not. And this is why you keep having everybody that come to do business with you to only pay in cash, because you don't want to record what your earnings are on Venmo and PayPal and Cash App and all of these other stuff. When y'all booked me for a coaching session, I said, hey, are you making sure that you're writing that off? When you join the Patreon, I said, hey, are you making sure that you're writing that off? Because this is, this is something that you can write off. This is helping you progress as a business owner. This is helping you progress in your finances. This is actually personal coaching. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But he's trying to add it. It's just that don't nobody want to work for the IRS because they ain't paying nothing. And they got a shortage of workers anyway. But Irv Gotti, let's talk about Irv Gotti and Ashanti. Irv Gotti is calling out Ashanti because Ashanti is trying to pull us Taylor Swift on Murder Inc. Now, there's been reports that's come out that said that Irv Gotti is coming up on the bag and that he's making over $300 million by selling the masters of everything that was produced under Murder Inc. Murder Inc. was the label with Ja Rule and Ashanti and all of those other type of people, right? But let's continue, right? Irv Gotti and Ashanti is in a spat. Now, we all know that part of it is over that puss. I know some of y'all is watching this in the daycare, so I'm not going to say it out loud. But a lot of it is over the fact that Nelly stole Ashanti from Irv Gotti, and he found out about it by looking at him at a basketball game that was shown on NBA TV, and so he all salty about it all these years later. He feeling some type of way. But then Ashanti brought Nelly out, or Nelly brought Ashanti out at a concert, and this rehashed some feelings that he may have had. But fellas, before we even get into the story, you're going to have to separate. You're going to have to separate your feelings from the business, because ultimately, when you put your emotions into it, you don't make the best business decisions. We're talking about being finesse today, okay? So let me share this article with you guys, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on why it is important for you to do good business, okay? Simping over a chick all these years later. So Irv Gotti appeared on Drink Champs and was very clear. Drink Champs with Nori, they have some really good guests. Appeared on Drink Champs where it was very clear on where he stands. Let me pull that out a little bit. Asking for stems. Ashanti claiming that she will re-record her debut album and asking for stems. So in the 2000s, Murder Inc. Records was on top. We all know that. They had Ashanti with Baby and Foolish, and y'all still think Ashanti is fine, and y'all be listening to it and streaming it. Well, let money go somewhere. It's split between the record label and then the master, whoever owned the masters, right? Since then, Irv Gotti and Ashanti have not seen eye to eye. Looking to the future, Ashanti is preparing her own music, basically her own music label, and she discussed it with Angie Martinez. This is what she said. I'm going to just go ahead and play the Instagram video. Oh, no. Let's refresh that. Let's see what we can do. I ain't about to be opening up Instagram. All right, so this is what she said.
So what is the thinking behind redoing the album as opposed to like just doing a new album? Like,
the thinking behind that is showing the business side of ownership and how important it is to own. And then once I re-record the first album,
you own it.
Exactly. So everything purchased, like when that goes, everything purchased from that moment, I own.
So let's break this down. Taylor Swift did this also, but it's a caveat. It's like a little asterisk, right? And so what happens is Taylor Swift wanted to buy her masters back from whatever label that she was on because Taylor Swift is a megastar. And that company was like, nah, you could go suck a fat one. We're not going to buy your masters back or whatever. And I believe that all artists don't necessarily need to own their masters because it don't necessarily generate revenue for you if you don't know how to finesse it. For example, Sir Mix-a-Lot has made a lot of money off of Baby Got Back. On the flip side, is anybody really checking for Lloyd Banks' catalog so that they can try to put that in a Super Bowl ad or something like that? It takes a level of business acumen in order to make money off your product, even if you own it. Okay? I'm giving you the business side of it. A lot of people are going to give you the emotional side. They're going to say, oh, I like Ashanti. Oh, I don't like Irv Gotti because Ja Rule got into it with 50 Cent. Fuck all that. I'm looking at everything from a business perspective, right? When you're talking about owning masters, right? You're talking about owning a product that you can make money from if it's generating revenue. Now, Ashanti is still relevant in the industry today, okay? And we're going to continue with her breakdown of it. Ashanti is still relevant in the industry today. And if her music is streaming or it's being used to be promoted or whatever, so on and so forth, she get whatever cut that she negotiated over 20 years ago when Ashanti was hot. So the question becomes, do she has to honor her contract, or is it required for her to fulfill her obligations and duties to herself by then making as much money as she possibly can, regardless of what she signed back then? Now, if I'm Irv Gotti, let's hold off on my thoughts. Let's continue. I'm going to play the rest of what she's saying. She's basically saying, listen, I can re-record what it is that I have, and then I can put it out myself and then make money off of my own stuff. So what you as the consumer, and I'm going to rewind this, what you as a consumer will be faced with is, do you want to hear the original, or do you want to hear the new thing that she re-recorded that she's now putting out as her own under her own label, right? So let's continue. Let's back up a little bit to what she was saying.
To get a big bag.
First album ownership, that is,
as opposed to like just doing a new album. Like
the thinking behind that is showing the business side of ownership and how important it is to own. And then once I re-record the first album,
you own it.
Exactly. So everything purchased, like when that goes, everything purchased from that moment, I own.
So basically you getting the bootleg Ashanti Sung by Ashanti. That's basically what you're getting. I think TLC re-recorded it because they was in their egregious contracts and LaFace and Pebbles didn't want to renegotiate. But let's continue.
About to get a big bag. When are we talking about this dropping?
So I think I'm getting the star in April.
Let me break this down for layman's term. Her birthday, she's going to have
sister's
a star on the Walk of Fame. Understand this? So what happens when all the press and everybody goes to play Baby Ashanti? Guess what's gonna come up? The new Ashanti. Baby. Then guess who gets all the money from that? The new Ashanti.
You know, Ashanti is kind of ghetto. I didn't realize how ghetto Ashanti is. Like, she dressed ghetto. Is that like her image? Is this like her image or no? Or no? Is it? No? Is this? Let me see. So. Let me just pause it real quick.
I think I'm getting the star.
Shanti is kind of hood. Is she not? Is it just me? Is it just me, or am I getting hood? Am I getting pretty, beautiful, ghetto, modern hood chick? Like, is this not this? I don't know if y'all ever seen Coach Carter. I was watching Coach Carter and I seen her and she was like, you know, acting like she had a baby on the way and all of that other type of stuff. And I was like, dang, that don't even look like she acting. That looked like her. That just looked like that's her sentiment. Like, bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair, Ashanti. You know what I'm saying? Why ain't Ashanti ever gotten married if she's so dope and she's so fly? Neither here nor there. But anyways, what she explained was you're going to get the bootleg Ashanti from Ashanti. Taylor Swift dealt with, and it's a reason why they try to negotiate for the original, because it's nothing like the original, right? It's nothing like the original. However, shout out to Ronnie. Ronnie says she's a hood dime. Right. That's what I kind of get from it too. I get hood dime. Like, she that chick from the hood that everybody wanted to buzz down. Everybody couldn't get to it, but some dudes, maybe the dude that had a car before y'all was driving, he made him be driving her around and coming picking her up. The dude at the high school picked her up, and she was the chick that was talking to the grown guy. That's what I get. Like, she the chick that was talking to the dudes that was older than her in high school. Neither here nor there. But do you want to hear the diluted Ashanti just because you want to make sure that she get paid? And is it the same? Do you have that musical ear to be able to tell the difference? Or do you want the original? And is anybody really bumping Ashanti in the first place, right? Zotag TV said Ashanti is fine as hell. No cap. She is. She bad. Ain't nobody denying that. I'm just saying, like, the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, Irv Gotti has something to say about this. And so Irv looked like a fucking pedophile, don't he? This dude looked like some kind of degenerate. I kind of put Irv Gotti, look at this guy. Like, Irv Gotti looks like, I can't put my finger on it. He looked like the guy that, like, the women know, like, if the girl look over and stare like this, he'd do like this real quick. Like, if he's staring at a chick and he do like this real quick. Irv Gotti looks like a creep to me. Now, this has nothing to do with his character. I don't really care about Irv Gotti, any of that whatsoever. But the dude look weird. I don't know if it's that shadowy gray look on his head. I don't know what it is, but Irv Gotti looked like he's looking at a girl out the side of his eye, and then when she turn around, he do like this real fast. He just don't look trustworthy to me. Anyways, you can't go by the look. Irv says in the comment section that he provided clarification for Angie Martinez and stated that he owns the masters. He says, I produced all those great Ashanti albums, so I also own a good portion of the publishing. What she is trying to do is re-record all those great records and put them out on her own label. She can't do this under the cover laws, but she is basically trying to fuck me out of my masters. He's saying, listen, she was just a face. I wrote, produced, put it together. I had sex with this woman and then went in the shower and thought of these great ideas, and all she did was put her voice on it. That's what he's saying. Shout out to Persevere Data. He says she definitely wore all wool jackets from older guys. Either the all wool jackets or the Pelly Pels. Ashanti is the chick that was wearing some older dude's Pelly that was too big for her. Real talk, Persevere Data TV. You ain't kidding, right? But basically, he's saying that she's trying to mess up the bread. He says, and make people decide which album to listen to or stream, hoping her loyal fans will choose her version. Jordan Smith says, Anton, interesting fact, as you're currently speaking, there is just a mass shooting at an Atlanta park. Blessings you got home safe too. All right, let me find out what's going on in Atlanta before we finesse. Let's pivot. Because I said, listen, people got mad at me yesterday. They got mad at me yesterday because I was walking in Atlanta and I said, listen, I love my bag chasers. Thank y'all for coming out and showing me love. And thank y'all for showing the Lapeef experience great. Let me see what's going on out here in Atlanta. And then I was walking around because, I like to look beyond the facade. So I get up early and I see what's really happening in the streets before all of the tourists come in. And I was like, yo, I'm walking around and it's fucked up here. It's some zesties. It's some stuff they ain't showing you on TV. Let me see. Second victim dies in Atlanta park shooting. Looks like we're going to do a little bit of a pivot here. All right. Oh, snaps. Was I not over here yesterday? Was I not walking through? Is this the park that I was walking through yesterday? Wow. Okay. So let's look. This is 2 hours ago. Oh, I'm not signing up to the Atlanta Journal. Let's see if we can find something else. Shooting during a ball game at an Atlantic Park leaves 1 dead and 5 wounded. All right. So here we go. We're going to rock with CNN. Hey. All right. Let's see what we can pull out of this. Thank y'all for letting me know. Let's see. Shooting during a fucking ball game. Had to be a basketball game. At Atlanta Park leaves 1 dead, 5 wounded, I guess a second person, including a 6-year-old. Okay. Let's see. 6-year-old who was in critical condition. The violence began during baseball. Oh, y'all was playing just baseball. Was it black people? I need to find out. Or a softball game at Dunbar Recreational Center inside of Rosa L. Birney Park in Southwest Atlanta around 7 p.m. Sunday. The game was interrupted by an argument that, I'm so glad I caught my flight, by an argument that escalated to an exchange of gunfire. So wait a minute. Y'all was playing baseball around 7 o'clock and y'all got into an argument and then y'all started shooting people. A man in his 30s was shot and killed while a 6-year-old was struck and transported to Children's Hospital in critical condition. The other 4 victims were in stable condition. Police investigating what happened. 6 victims had to know each other. Let's see. We're just asking the citizens to just find a way to resolve conflict without weapons. They say criminals are the only ones carrying weapons. Okay, this is y'all that can't keep y'all temper over a softball game. We're just asking people to step away. We're asking people to just let bygones be bygones. Anytime that we have a tragedy like this, any death is a tragedy. And you got a kid that's shot and in critical condition. Shooting represents the 18th mass shooting in Georgia this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive. The 18th mass shooting in Georgia this year, which defines a mass shooting as any incident in which 4 or more people are shot. As of July 30th, there have been 88 homicides in Atlanta this year, a 9% increase at the same point last year. Aggravated assaults, category that includes non-fatal shootings, are also up 4% compared to. That's unfortunate. I will say that this is not a reflection of the entire Atlanta area. I think that overwhelmingly, oh no, not the baby formula. I don't even like babies. This is not a reflection of the entire Atlanta area. Let me see if I can find some more coverage on this. Give me a second. Come on now. All right. Two dead, 3 others hurt. Atlanta Park. Let's see if we can get this popping over here.
5 for us is that combination of that old school whiteboarding throwing.
We're going to mute that while they play that. But no, I was walking around Atlanta and I was like, yo, everything ain't cute here. It's a lot of nonsense that's happening over here. We're going to have to call a spade a spade. You know what I'm saying? It's not all peaches and cream and candy over here. Chad the Great says Irv sold the Murder Inc. Masters in July for $300 million. I agree. I know. Christian Hutchinson says ATL, Detroit, Chicago, and Cleveland. That's why I laugh whenever people say they headed down there from up here. Y'all run into the same folks you running from. For real. Almost everybody in Atlanta. Hold on. Let me hear this real quick. Let me rewind this real quick. Let me see what she's saying. Everybody in Atlanta ain't even from Atlanta.
Now dead after somebody shot 6 people at a park in southwest Atlanta on Sunday. Among the survivors, a 6-year-old child who is now in critical condition. Tracy Amick-Peer is live at Children's Hospital at Evanston with new details on the 2 people we now have confirmed died in that shooting. Tracy?
Can't even go to the rec center.
Well, the Fulton County Medical Examiner just identified the victims as 31-year-old Rashad Rogers and 33-year-old April Sparks. Now, police say that the shooting stemmed from an argument during a ball game in Rosa Birney Park last night. Then there was a second shooting next to Dunbar Elementary School right outside the park.
That's sad.
At this point, police have not made any arrests and haven't released any details about a suspect. Police are using last night's shootings to once again urge people to work to resolve arguments without weapons, emphasizing how many people were hurt in this violence.
We know that the parks are a place where people come, they can have a good time, what was going on earlier. So we hate that the actions of a small percentage of people to ruin it for everyone else. So what we know is that early on, again, everything was peaceful. Everyone was getting along, and then again, some type of argument ensues.
Y'all know what happened.
Now, if you witnessed the shooting or have any information that could lead to an arrest, call crime.
You can forget it. Black people don't snitch. Black people don't snitch. You know black people don't snitch. Black people don't do the thing that's in their best interest. Lil Black Duck is summarizing it perfectly. He says, I wonder how Jay Prince feel about this. You know Jay Prince don't care nothing about that. Jay Prince think all killers should be out. Derek T says, me and my chick were walking down there Saturday night and Sunday morning. I told her exactly what you said. All these cities are the same. They look good on social media, but what you see in the real when you in town. Real talk. Shout out to Derek T. I appreciate you. He also says, I kid you not, I asked all the locals I had convos with, were they from ATO? Every last one said they were from NYC. I asked 10 to 15 people. Most people that are down in these places committing these crimes are not from these places. Niner Blue 82 says, hello, AD. I was on the JP Live yesterday. I think JP needs more education regarding military standards. Our rules are very strict and we're dealt with severely. Only 1% of Americans join our team. Listen, I'm working on Jay Prince. That is a person that I am working on feverishly. I am very much tying myself to Jay Prince in order to ensure that he's successful. But the reality is that we the worst for ourselves as a collective group in an environment. We are the worst. And beautiful disaster, I won't even say that. You can't even say learn to fight again because as soon as they lose, they going to go to get a pistol. As soon as you lose, you going to go get a pistol. As soon as you lose. Whether you win or lose, if he even get a scratch on you, is your homie is over there with the ooh-wop shebang. Ain't no fight no more. Ain't nobody fighting. That's why I say, listen, I'm walking away. Because even if we were to scrap, right? Ain't nobody scrapping no more. At all. I stay far away from it. Persevere Data TV says they're making Killer Mike look like a fool. They've been making Killer Mike look like a fool. I stay far away from it, yo. Real talk. And then they say, Anton, why you won't come out with us? Because a motherfucker might be out there playing softball, get hit, get a home run hit on him, and then next thing you know, he killing 4 people and little kid is in critical condition. Because y'all don't even know how to shoot. This is sad. It is absolutely sad. Prayers up for the family. I hope that they're doing well. I don't like to see this type of things happening. But thank y'all for letting me know what was going on. Listen, I want to pivot. I want to pivot really quickly, and I want to look at this final video about Thailand. It's a video where people sent me, and they said the dude moved to Thailand, and he said he lives way better in Thailand than he does in the United States of America. I want to pivot to this video before we get up out of here because I want to make sure that we leave on a good note before I go into corporate. Again, for my bag chasers and the people that continue to rock with me, link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I am releasing a video either tomorrow or Wednesday, 85% sure it's going to be tomorrow, that breaks down exactly how it is that I'm living my day and shows you all of the different deals that I'm a part of so that you can then lean into what it is that I do so you can be more successful yourself. Tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And if you need to kick it with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com and we're going to get you popping. Victor Freeze Music says, a pleasure to meet you, my brother. For your information, the next time you want to tour the city, let me know. It's really not safe. He talking about Atlanta. You want to come to the north? Start at Brave Stadium. Absolutely, my friend Victor Freeze. I rock with you. Thank you, my friend. Trey05 says, I don't hoop outside anymore because somebody always got something in the trunk when they getting cooked. They just keep it in their bag right next to the cooking. Right next to the court where they getting cooked at. Shout out to you, Trey05. Thank you. I appreciate you, my friend. Let's get into this video. I want to break this down really quickly.
When I got to Bangkok for the first time, it just had that pulse.
Bangkok.
You've got this kind of street level city, which is your food vendors and your people running to work and taxis and motorbikes. There's a real energy on the street. And then there's also sort of this sky city that's happening in these skyscrapers.
Is that what Bangkok looked like?
Fancy rooftop bars and restaurants, as well as interesting working spaces and malls. So you have the contrast of everything from the fancy Chanel store to the 20-cent pork on a stick skewer being grilled on the street. My name is Jesse Schoberg. I'm 41 years old, and I relocated to Bangkok, Thailand on about $8,000 a month.
Wait a minute, this motherfucker he's spending $8,000 a month. Why was y'all acting like he was out here like struggling and junk like that? $8,000 a month. He ain't no regular guy. This is what I keep telling y'all. Listen, y'all sent me this video like Passport Bros. This motherfucker make $230,000 a year. He ain't no regular dude. He out here killing the game. He got him a Bangkokian. What do they call the Bangkok girls over there? I'm sounding uncultured than a motherfucker right now. Brock says, passing a collection plate. Thank you, Brock. I appreciate you. This man live on $8,000 a month. I don't even know if he paying taxes. You see who the girl that he was walking with? Let me rewind this a little bit. Let me see this chick that he was walking with.
1 year old, and I relocated to Bangkok, Thailand.
Her teeth ain't even right. She look like she got a Y'all will do anything, bro. Y'all just do anything. And then another point that I'm making right here is that this whole thing is, please don't just say black women. This is men at large are walking away from the Western ways of modern women, and they going over there where they don't have to work out. They look like meat on a stick, and they can get these chicks that got their grill all fucked up just because they can't compete over here in America when it comes to the women. I'm telling you, listen, the whole MGTOW movement didn't start with black men. It started with white men. It started with white dudes. This is not nothing new. This is their norm. They've been doing this for a long time. Look at her grill, man. Come on, man. Y'all not about to fool me talking about she in it because she love him. This motherfucking, his budget is $8,000 a month and he make $230,000 a year. Talking about he lived better over there than over here. Where can't you live decent for $230,000 a year here? We gonna find out.
On about $8,000.
Look. Washboard like a motherfucker. She got a washboard back. She's straight up and down. What is so exciting about that? I'm going to just tell y'all, listen, I rock with everybody. I think that everybody is dope. I rock with people based off of their character. But I'm going to be real with you. It ain't nothing like a chocolate woman. Y'all can go over there and get all of the sucky you want. You can do all of that y'all want to. And I'm going to be traveling worldwide. That's the plan, for us to be able to just sell everything and travel. But I'm going to just tell you, bro, it ain't nothing like a chocolate woman. I don't give a fuck what they tell you. They don't move the same. Their hips don't move the same. You can't monster mash them the same, because then they be like, oh, it hurt too much. No, that sister, she gonna take it. It's gonna hurt her. She gonna be sore in the morning, all of that other type of stuff, but she gonna take all of that. Don't you tell me nothing about no sister. These chicks will take the whole thing and do not complain. And we'll throw it back on top of that.
On about $8,000 a month.
Look at her. You can't cover that. You can't cover that up with no sunglasses. But let's continue. Shout out to Philly. Philly says, been watching you for a while now. I truly enjoy your content. I'm not a bag chaser yet, but that's about to change. Thank you, Philly, for holding me down. Thank you for rocking with your boy on the Millionaire Morning Show and Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Y'all not going to tell me that this dude is over here killing the game. He couldn't get a sister to throw it back that way.
I'm an entrepreneur and a web developer. I've been working online for about 20 years. I currently run a company called Drop and Blog. I think a lot of entrepreneurs kind of lend themselves to being nomads as well, because there is some sort of a seek of adventure and freedom that kind of comes from both sides. I decided that Thailand was a place that I would like to live when I first came here in 2015. The quality in life in Thailand compared to the United States, I'd say for 90% of things is much better. It's a very easy life compared to the US, as well as you're dealing with a bit of a currency arbitrage.
So you're finessing. Currency arbitrage means finessing. He gets more money, more for his money. That's not a bad thing. I mean, when you can make money, you can make money.
The Thai people are much different than in the US. It's a much friendlier, more relaxed, and more inviting. It's generally a culture that is interested in meeting foreigners and different people, and it's just a very welcoming place.
Yeah, because you spending money. Why do people think that people like him just because they're good people? Why do he think that he walk over there and they like, oh man, I just love foreigners? No, they love the fact that you're willing to spend money that you're making over here, over there. Let's be honest. Like, come on, I'm with him. I think you should be able to do what you want to do and live where you want to live, but let's be real.
In Thailand, there's not much to miss when it comes to food. Being in a major city here, you really have pretty much every type of food in the world, and Thai food is amazing. So Japanese food, Korean food, there's a lot of great things here. I live much better in Thailand than I did in the US. While I could afford a pretty nice life in the US, it's just the level of services that you get here are completely blowing away what you get in the US. So it really makes the life more luxurious.
Billy the Kid say it's clear this dude likes lady boys. I don't know. Most people swing it both ways nowadays, Billy. Most people go both. Dude make $230,000. Let me tell you what it is, right? He's saying the level of services. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Well, the level of services that you get over here in Thailand, he said it. He said, I can afford to live pretty good anywhere in the United States of America. But the level of services you get here in Thailand is just so much greater. I'm translating that to mean something completely different than what y'all translating it to mean. I'm translating it to mean that it's completely different than what y'all think.
I live in a one-bedroom service apartment. I pay $2,700 a month.
He paid $2,700 a month for a one-bedroom. Let me rewind that just to make sure I hear that correctly.
I live in a one-bedroom serviced apartment. I pay $2,700 a month. We're in a very trendy district, and my fiance and I both live here. It includes quite a few amenities, including all utilities, electric, internet, as well as cleaning and some laundry. It's very full service, and I find that removes a lot of my life admin time.
I feel
it allows me to be more productive and have a lot more free time.
So basically he's saying, all right, basically, let me get back on track. Basically, he's saying that, in which I agree with him, right? I don't like the idea behind having to do work. I don't like cutting grass. I don't want to fucking worry about a roof. I don't want to do nothing. Real talk. All I want to do is work and make money. I want to work, make money, and then in my spare time, I want to either spend time with my family or I want to do something that actually adds a value to my life. Networking, traveling, having a good time, going out, kicking it with people. I don't want to do anything. And so I feel him on that. I feel him on the idea that full service, which I think that people need to be more open-minded to, means that it simplifies your life to where you don't have to worry about the menial things. And all of the stuff that he talk about is the stuff that I hear a lot of guys say on a regular basis that they want in a woman. I need her to cook, clean, and all of that. So basically, you're looking for full service on how it is that you need to mean. At least her teeth got done before the wedding. Y'all are a mess. I'm not even doing it. He spends $600 a month on groceries and $1,600 a month on eating out. $600 a month on groceries and $1,600 a month on eating out. I wonder how the tax codes work on there. I'm genuinely curious. This is what the life is like. He do what he want to do when he want to do it, and when you get that bag, you can make that decision. I don't fault him for it.
There's amazing versions of fresh food all over the country that you can get full meal that's freshly made.
That's why they love him, because he's spending $1,600 a month out eating out to eat.
And you can't really do that anywhere in the States or Europe.
Public transportation.
This includes Grab, which is their local version of Uber,
Yep.
as well as the local BTS, which is their train.
Flatback. I'm bringing flatback. Yeah. Flatback, which I don't care. I mean, whatever. You know, you like what you like. But I like the fact that he's immersed. I like the fact that he's immersed in using public transportation in order to ensure that he can get around, because I very much want to get to the space to where I don't have to own a car. I can live, work, and play all in the same areas. Shout out to Billy, says, didn't she have braces in the beginning? I don't know what she had. It was something on them teeth. This may be a session that's been, you know what I'm saying, remixed over time. I don't know.
I originally grew up in southern Wisconsin, about an hour and a half north of Chicago. I grew up in a small town, not too much trouble, also not too much adventure, and not too much drive to achieve exciting things. So I always had the idea that I wanted to get
out and live out in bigger cities, y'all. I wonder why he left to live.
I had been to Panama City, Panama on a vacation once, and I really enjoyed it, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Once I saw a few other people that were doing a little bit more traveling, gave me some inspiration to go explore some new places and move on from Panama.
Seems like it's got a trend going on here. Can y'all put together the context clues?
During the pandemic, I was living in Mexico City for quite a while, but
You know what's so funny? Remember just last week when I did the vlog on Mexico City and how they said that they don't want foreigners to come in there no more and living up in there and running up the prices because they turning it into the West? I literally just did a show on Mexico City and how they saying they don't like foreigners coming in there. And he's talking about how welcoming the foreigners are. It's called the service industry, my friend.
I always knew that I liked it better here in Asia, and that's why I've kind of
because you like Asian chicks.
Back to Thailand as my base. If you're planning to spend a lot of time in Thailand, there's quite a few different visa options available. There's a business visa as well as a Thai Elite visa, and they're working on a new one called the long-term resident visa. The business visas are usually annual renewables. And then the Thai Elite visa is a 5-year visa that costs about $18,000. And
Aaron said he looked like he was bad as F as a kid. I don't know. So a 3-year visa costs $18,000, which is the equivalent of $6,000 a year.
Gives you unlimited access to.
Is it a 3-year or 5-year?
Entry and exit privileges. But the visa options are changing regularly, and they
Fellow
are
bag
starting
chaser,
to
haven't been on a live in months. Greeting to you, Anton, back at the DC meeting. What up, though, Brandon? I remember. What you been doing, Brandon? Brandon only been watching bag chaser videos. He ain't been watching live stream videos. All right, we gonna get on there.
Option for your situation.
Brandon been focused though.
A lot of people think that Thailand is a scary place, but in reality, it's a lot safer and a lot more.
She kind of cute when her mouth is closed. She cute than a mug. She got her breasts, right? Got her. I see you, baby. Okay, big dog. She look better. Just tell her don't fucking smile.
Calm and a lot more inviting than most other places in the world.
He getting it.
Safety in Thailand is something that a lot of nomads really appreciate. Even here, a major city in Bangkok, there's just not a huge amount of street crime. As far as language barriers are concerned, here in Bangkok, you can definitely get by with English, especially in the more central, more touristic areas. However, learning Thai has been a huge advantage.
I want to say
Oh, this is a short A.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's smart. This dude is living life on a low, though. I mean, I know we joking about all of this little petty dumb junk or whatever like that, but in reality, the biggest thing that I'm taking away from looking at this vlog is that when you get the bread, you can do what you want to do. When you make the bag, you can move where you want to move. You don't have to be subjected to whatever your current environment and circumstances is. And you actually should get out and travel more, because then you can experience the world, which would then make it more immersive for you. You can adopt different cultures into your life so that you can have a much fuller experience and a much greater lifestyle. I actually like everything that he's talking about. I don't disagree with anything that he said so far.
The Thai people really appreciate it, and as a foreigner, you can really engage in the culture and have a better life if you do have some level of Thai. I think it's important to respect locals in any place that you are a guest. And again, the Thai people really appreciate it as well, and your life is better. It's really a win-win to practice the local language.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I met my fiance Janine in the Philippines. She was living there and is born there. She was working for a startup, and we kind of hit it off. We're planning to have our wedding in Phuket later this year. And some people might think that planning a wedding abroad might be a bit more difficult, but actually things are very organized here in Thailand, and we have a planner that's helping out, and it's been going very smoothly so far.
Oh, so he does go back to Mexico City. I like his lifestyle, though. I like the fact that he picks and chooses where he wants to live based off of what he determines is dope, because he can do what he want to do based off of how much money he makes. He's not. See, that's the difference. And this is one of the things that I want y'all to pay attention to. When you go into a career, shout out to Elo, says shout out to the Me Love and the Love You Long Time gang. Yeah, he don't want to say that part, but we're going to get into it. The thing about it is, when you go into certain career fields, you're tied to whatever is happening in that particular local economy. So, for example, let's just say, for example, you build a business and you become an electrician, or you become a plumber, or you are an HVAC technician. You can make a decent amount of money. Absolutely. And I encourage you to do that, because we need more plumbers and HVAC technicians and electricians and so on, pipe fitters and all of that, right? But the difference is that you can't pick up and move where you want to move and then be as mobile as Anton is, because I've picked a career field, or I'm always going to be able to get certain bags based off of the fact that it does not require me to be in an office. I choose to go into the office. See, every nuance of a career you should consider instead of just considering what makes money. Now, we all know that we don't want you to get into the Victim Olympics by getting a basket weaving degree, but that goes without saying. But my point is that when you go in her teeth on a super lean. Y'all so ugly. When you go into certain career fields and you get the bag, you can then determine what you want to do, and you're not living based off of the requirements of what society's saying that you have to do. That's what I like about this story.
I don't really have any plans to move back to the US. I plan to keep Thailand as one of my bases for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
I find living outside of the States a bit more interesting. It's fascinating to learn about different cultures and have authentic foods around the world, as well as just interact with different people with different ideas. I find the States to be a bit complicated the last few years, and it doesn't really feel like it's getting better. If you're looking to become a digital...
Are those Skechers?
nomad...
Oh, no, those are Converse. Okay.
...and live around the world, my first advice is to try to have either some level of savings, or ideally a low level of income that is already being generated on the internet.
Basically, he's telling you to have multiple streams of income. Have multiple streams of income.
I think if you're looking to relocate to Thailand or Bangkok, the best thing is to join some of the Facebook groups, either around the city that you're looking
Immerse
to
yourself in the local
or
economy.
around any interest that you have. Then you can start to interact with locals and ask some of your questions, and that will help your transition process a lot. I definitely recommend spending time in Thailand. It's a special place, and while it might not be for
maybe
everyone,
I go and visit Thailand
and it's a very
with
beautiful
Rita.
place with amazing people.
Aaron said her favorite song is Fat Joe's Lean Back. Y'all acting extra. All right. Actually thought that was pretty dope. Thank y'all for sending me that video. But I think if the thing that I like is that he never actually talked about women being on the agenda as to why it is that he moves or travels to a different place. I'm assuming that he's probably talking about the politics and the fighting back and forth and the inflation and all of this other type of stuff. But women was not the thing. Women just came with whatever it is that he wanted to do. He just wanted to travel the world, right? And I know I joked on him a little bit, but in reality, he seems like he has everything together and he's moving accordingly. So, yeah, I thought that was a good video. Keep him sending. Aaron keep wanting me to do a cheapskates or whatever that show is. Extreme cheapskates. Extreme cheapskates. Extreme cheapskates. Is that how you say it? I like an extreme cheesecake. Fuck all of that. All right. So listen, I'm about to go into the office. And again, I've been shooting video and recording of what my life is like for you guys to deep dive into it. Inside of the Patreon, that video is going to be coming within the next couple of days, probably tomorrow. Thank you guys for continuing to tap in with me. Be safe, be focused, and more importantly, get to that bag. All right. For my bag chasers, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. For people that want to kick it with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com and I'm going to get you popping. I love you and I appreciate you, but I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, friends. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be rich by ourselves. Patreon members, make sure you check the last vlog before I drop one tomorrow, because it gives you all of the details of the live stream or the Patreon exclusive meetup that's in the Midwest, the next Build a Business series, how to be successful within the Patreon, and then make sure you tap into the Discord with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'm going to see y'all tonight on the live stream on the other channel. Peace.